In this episode, I go over my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, August 31st, 2022. What's going on, everybody? Justin here, aka No Good Comics, and welcome back to the channel. In this episode, I'm going over my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day coming out next week, August 31st, 2022. So if you're here for that, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and of course, a huge shout out to everybody in the premiere chat. As always, thanks so much for hanging out with me here on these Thursday afternoons. Let's get right into this. I got my top 5 picks. Like I say every week, it's a great week for comics. A ton of great things coming out right now. This one was a little easier for me to kind of condense what I wanted to for my top 5, but either way, I'm really excited for next week, so let's get right into it. At my number 5 pick of the week, Harley Quinn 2022, the annual. Stephanie Phillips continuing to do a great job with this series, and I know obviously the annuals are going to kind of break apart a little bit, have their own standalone story, but of course tie into kind of the grand scheme of things. But Stephanie Phillips has just been absolutely killing it with this series. I talked about during my Terrificon video, I had the opportunity to actually meet Stephanie Phillips, and I think it was right when Harley Quinn 18 was about to come out, so it was nice to be able to get a couple signatures from her and talk with her for a little bit. She seemed really cool, really down to earth, and like I said, just really been enjoying the series as a whole. So if you haven't been reading Harley Quinn, I highly recommend jumping into it. It is very new reader friendly if you go back to the beginning, but yeah, so this is just the annual that they're doing, and they're going to continue on with the main storyline after that. I know they usually, and yeah, I see here the artwork changes up a little bit. Simon Bonfantino, I hope I'm saying that right, doing the interior art for this, and John Boy doing this lovely cover here. John Boy Maris, love his stuff as well. Couple of variants. I'm kind of surprised there's only 3 variants for this. I thought there'd be a lot more for a Harley Quinn annual, but either way, I'm cool with it. Save some money there for myself. But there you go. That's my number 5 pick of the week, Harley Quinn 2022, the annual. Jumping into my number 4 pick of the week, I'm going with this book right here, another DC, Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country, issue number 5. I have been really enjoying this series as a whole. James Tynion is one of the reasons that really caught my attention to this, but also it's Sandman, right? I mean, I've been reading along, I've talked about this before, reading along with the, I have the omnibus to the original volume 1 from Neil Gaiman, and so between that and then the TV show that had come out, and I loved the first season. I didn't get to talk much about it, over the past couple of weeks, but I binged it. My girlfriend and I binged it, and I really enjoyed it. So just kind of branching off of that is this series here. So if you guys haven't been checking this out, if you're a big fan of just horror in general, I think that this is safe to say that it's a book that you could jump into without knowing too much. Yes, it does help if you do know some of these characters from the past, if you do know some of them from the Neil Gaiman stuff, but I don't think necessarily you'd be too lost. You could kind of jump into this. Actually, now that I think about it, if you did watch the series, they introduced some of those characters here, like the Corinthians, the main focus of this story, then I think that would set a little context, at least to knowing who this guy is. But anyways, so there's a lot of other things that kind of go on in this, but if you just like horror stuff and creepy stuff in general, like this is definitely the book for you. So that's why it's on my list at number 4, the Sandman Universe, Nightmare Country, issue number 5 by James Tynion. Let's see, going into my number 3 pick of the week, I am actually not quite caught up yet on this series, but I'm going with this book, Superman War World Apocalypse, issue number 1. I have been just starting to read Philip Kennedy Johnson's stuff from, I think it was issue Action Comics 1030, that he has really kicked off this new story arc or whatever direction that he's going in. And, I picked up the trade. Really been enjoying it, a couple issues in. So I have a little bit of time to kind of catch up to this, but I did want to put this on my list. And if I was caught up right now, it would definitely be, pretty high on my list because I have been enjoying it. But yeah, so I'm still working my way through. But as of right now, Philip Kennedy Johnson, he has become one of my favorites just from some of the writing that I've seen within his work. So that's a big highlight right there. Will Conrad doing the artwork, along with Brandon Peterson. And let's see, the cover we're looking at is Steve Beach. Don't know too much about him, but pretty cool cover there. And of course, they do have a couple variants as well. So yeah, can't tell you much else about it. Like I said, I am catching up myself on some of the Action Comics stuff, but definitely enjoying what I'm reading so far. And I think that Philip Kennedy Johnson is a great writer from what I've been reading so far. Really enjoying it. So that's gonna be my number 3 pick of the week: Superman War World Apocalypse issue number 1. Going into my number 2 pick, I am going with this book right here, Gambit issue number 2. This is, of course, Chris Claremont, who I had the pleasure of meeting when I was over at C2E2 over in Chicago past couple weeks ago. So cool to talk with him, and in fact, he did a little video for me where he gave a shout out to the Omni XMen show that John and I do every Tuesday. I know we're off here on the summertime, but as we kick back into that in October, really nice of him, and he did actually highlight and promote his book. So Gambit 2 coming out now. I like the first issue a lot. I'm newer to these characters because I haven't read much with Gambit, so it was nice to kind of get this little introduction to him, and it actually inspired me to go back and read some of the original stuff where Gambit was first introduced, from like XMen 266 and things like that. So reading up on a little bit more, learning a little bit more of Gambit. I have read about Gambit and some of the newer Hickman stuff, but I haven't been able to go back and really get to know the character through what he's been, what writers have done with him over the years. So, this is Chris Claremont kind of showing a little bit of behind the scenes of what has been happening, or what happened before we kind of got to know him, where he was at. You'll get this whole tie-in with Storm, where Storm is a younger version of herself. And again, you'll have to kind of reread some of the older stuff to kind of learn or understand some of that. So I could see where maybe some of this you might question a little bit. But overall, I think for any X-Men fan, like, you're going to love it. And I just think like last issue was a really nice setup, kind of showed the relationship between Gambit and Storm. And so we'll see kind of where this goes. But I wanted to put this on the list pretty high up there. Gambit issue number 2 as my number 2 pick, Chris Claremont. And the artwork here, I should know, Sid Koshin. Don't know Sid Koshin, but I really like the artwork in the beginning in the first issue, so we'll see where it goes. But yeah, that's my number 2 pick. And before I get into my number 1, just want to thank everybody who was hanging out in the premiere chat. As always, thanks so much for just being here, or if you're watching this on your own time, I appreciate that as well. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel if you are new. I do appreciate that. I got nothing really coming up here to promote recently, so I'm just going to continue on with these videos. I'm actually thinking about doing my cover buy of the weeks as a separate video. As of right now, I will still have it in this one for today, but moving forward, I might actually kind of break that off and maybe do my top 2 or 3, or just talk about a couple of cool covers in general, maybe as a separate video altogether. I'm trying to keep these shorter than I have been in the past. So, but anyways, that's let's get into my number 1 pick, and my number 1 pick is going to this book right here, X-Men. Of course, we were just talking mutants. This is X-Men 14. Really digging the Judgment Day tie-ins that have been going on, the build-up to everything going on. I just read X-Men Red not too long ago, issue number 5, I think it was. Insane, absolutely insane. Immortal X-Men issue 4 and 5, those have been absolutely crazy as well. So if you're not reading this event, the Judgment Day stuff, I think actually, now that with me recording this now, technically Judgment Day issue number 3 is coming out tomorrow. I'm recording this on a Tuesday, so really excited to continue on with this epic event that's happening right now. And I know it's kind of a three-way war that's going on, as I've explained in the past, between the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Eternals. So yeah, just a lot of wild stuff going on, and especially in the X-Men Red stuff. But overall, this X-Men series, the main title, has been really solid. Jerry Duggan, he's kind of gone in and out of different directions with some of the story arcs, some smaller story arcs, but everything still ties into that big picture really nicely, and especially branching off of what Hickman has done and what he's created. They've really done, by they, I mean all these other newer creators, or not newer, but all these other creators that have taken over, they've done a really good job at kind of carrying the torch of what Hickman has originally launched. So, again, between the X-Men stuff right now that I have here next to me, and the Judgment Day stuff, and Eternals, and everything else that's going on right now, like the big picture stuff's really exciting, and it's what's making it really exciting for me for Marvel right now, because I was kind of in and out, kind of in a lull with Marvel, other than the X-Men stuff. Basically, it's just been the X-Men stuff that's really kept me going, and this is helping continuing on with this, and especially the Judgment Day event. So like I've said in the past, and I'll say it again, I'm reading all tie-ins to Judgment Day because I'm all in on this series, all in on this event. Really excited for it. So but yeah, this has just been, it's been fantastic stuff. I don't see or let's see, the artist here, Carlos Villa. I don't know if Villa's been the main. I feel like they've been jumping around a little bit on some of the artwork, but he's listed here as the current interior artist. And let's see, the cover art is Jesus Abertov. So it's very cool. I see a lot of different variants. As always, they're always coming out with a bunch for the X titles. So, but yeah, that's going to be my number one pick of the week. Let me know if you're reading X-Men, if you're going to be picking up X-Men 14. Let me know in the comment section below. We'd love to know kind of where you stand with the Judgment Day stuff. Are you reading this event? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you all in like me and just buying all the tie-ins and everything? Definitely would like to know that. Before we get out of here, let me just say too, I got my cover buy of the week, and I'm going to put it up right here. Red Sonja issue number 12. I've never had a Red Sonja book on any of my lists that I can think of. I don't really read any of the series. I don't know much about the character, but this cover is just absolutely stunning. I think she's drawn beautifully here. And let's see, the cover artwork is listed as, let's see, scrolling through. Oh, no wonder. Okay, so that makes sense. It is also by the writer, who happens to be Mirka Andolfo. That makes a lot of sense because I'm a big fan of her work. I've actually got to meet her twice, technically, over in Terrificon and C2E2 this past couple of months as I went to these Comic Cons. But yeah, just the drawing of this overall, love her work. Maybe it's something I should be reading. I don't know. Let me know if you're reading Red Sonja, if you've ever read anything of hers, or if you're reading the current stuff right now. I didn't know that Mirka was actually writing this, so that's pretty cool to see. And it is, Dynamite. I don't read much from Dynamite, but maybe I should. Maybe I should start. But love this cover. Definitely my cover buy of the week. And like I say, cover buy is just that book that you can't help but buy it, whether you've been reading the series or not. It's a book that you just have to have, all based on the cover. Let me know for you, what is your cover buy of the week? If you have one, leave it in the comment section below. Otherwise, that is all I got for you here today. That is my top 5 picks for New Comic Book Day, coming out next week, August 31st, 2022, along with my cover buy of the week. Let me know in the comment section below. What are you getting? What do you think of my list? Do you think I left anything out? I know there's a lot of other great series that are coming out right now. Let me know what you're reading. If you have any recommendations, I'm always up for it. Big shout out to the Premiere Chat. As always, thanks so much for hanging out with me here on this Thursday afternoon. Make sure you smash that like button on the way out. And until next time, I will talk to you later.